Bonafide hustler here. Bonafide hustler here. Bonafide hustler. Yeah. Bonafide hustler here. We're gonna check out that haul from last weekend. What's up, guys? This is Chris, the Bonafide Hustler, coming to you live from my garage. Hey, let's go check out that really big haul I found last weekend. And if you guys are tuning in for the very first time, this channel is dedicated to helping you guys out there find ways to make side money using garage sales, estate sales, yard sales, flea markets, swap meets, whatever you can get your hands on, even Goodwills and Salvation Armies. This is a way to make good, viable money, side money, and you can make it anywhere in America. So come check out this channel if you're tuning in for the very first time. And for all you guys out there that have been following me, let's go check out this haul. Can we check out that haul, bro? So, in no particular order, some of the things that I found this past weekend, before we get to the good stuff, which is like the really, really awesome bikes, I want to show you some of the things that I've been sinking my teeth into. And let's keep in mind, I spent around about $200 on a 4-hour span on Saturday morning going to neighborhood-wide garage sales and church garage sales. So one of the things that I found are hubcaps. I always buy hubcaps and they always find their way into my antique booth. But they look something like this. They go on the side of your wheels to make it look not so shady and weird. These are for old Chevy pickups, and I think this is for a Ford Fairlane. So I picked up a set of these for about $5 for both, and these are total scores, right? A set of 4 of these in my antique booth in crappy condition or nice condition can go for about, $27 all the way up to about $50. So people are looking for these things, that's why I buy them. One of the things that I sank my teeth into this past weekend was this. For $1, it's a crank set, right? Not a big deal, but honestly, locally and on eBay, this could probably sell for about $30 to $40. It's in very good condition. When you look at a crank set, make sure you take a look at all the teeth, make sure they're not worn down. This one's in very good condition. And for all you guys that don't know what a crank set is, it's the part of the bike in the very front that actually guides the chain to the rear part of the bike where the gears are. Okay, so at an estate sale this past weekend, I actually came across this for $1. Old realistic little, looks like maybe 5-band radio. So really, really neat. It's an Astronaut 5. You can tell how many bands they have. They usually like to brag about that on these old radios. And you can also just count the lines. So for the most part, this thing works. I know because it was working as soon as I actually got in there. I just made an offer on it, and the guy was like, "What do you want?" I was like, $1. It's like, okay. So, I bought it. And these things sell consistently in my antique booth, and they could probably go online for somewhere between $30 and $50. And the ones with the more silver fronts, by the way, look for those because those actually carry a little bit more money if they have the more reflective kind of silver fronts to them. So at the very end of the day, I found myself a pair of Keen kids shoes. Keen is very good for kids sandals. In fact, it might be the most leading kids sandal purchased in America besides like a Croc, for example. So these are what Keens look like. Everyone has seen these before on kids. And they're very, very, very good condition. So I swung on these for $5. I expect these to bring in about 25 to 30 online. Every single time I find these things, a lantern, right? I always buy them. I buy them for about $2 or below because these things in my antique booth sell for about $15 and higher. So any kind of lantern, just make sure it's not cracked around here or anything. Usually you'll see these in like dark blue or green, sometimes black, but more than likely you'll find red ones. So red ones, the DIETZ Dietz, or other brands, even if they're Japanese lanterns from the old school days, they still sell for good money. And these are typically oil, so you put the oil in there and everything. So it's pretty neat. I like them, and but not enough to keep them, right? So they do have resale, so check this out. And a lot of people like to collect these things. So ways that I actually experiment out there as a hustler, right? I actually get in really low on things that I want to try. And here's a perfect example of that. I like to try things like this. These are rods and reels, but vintage ones. So as you can tell, they look really, really, really cool. I gotta polish this one up a little bit. And these right here, cork handles, and there's one right there. It's real nice. So with further research, I think these are probably gonna bring in somewhere between 30 and maybe $50. But with vintage, lines and all this stuff, reels, there's a pretty good market there. So I figured for $5, I really cannot go wrong here. I could stick this in my antique booth and some passerby eventually will end up picking it up. Okay, so for $5 at a man cave haul, that's what I called it, I found this cool Corona mirror, so that's not too bad, right? Very neat. I also got a Copenhagen sign for that man cave haul, which I gave to my neighbor. And then in that man cave haul, I got this PS2 with 2 controllers and some memory cards. So not bad just for a $5 man cave haul. Okay, so in some part of that day, I actually found myself at a church garage sale where I found this cool stuff. I found two of these guys, and you can see this one's working. I always pick up these Yahtzees in any kind of color now at this point. And I found two of these. I think it was like $1 for both. For another $1, I picked up this with some headphones. It's a Sony AM/FM radio with digital presets. I always pick these things up. They sell for about 15 to 25 bucks on eBay. Then I also picked up this right here, which is an Aurora slot car for 25 cents. Aurora, AFX, all that kind of slot car following, including the box, right? And it's just sitting in there. It's a Lola GT. This thing, I gotta do a little bit more research on it, but I know it's worth certainly more than 25 cents. I'm speculating this thing's probably worth closer to 15 to maybe $40. Just a tiny little slot car like this. So it's very cool. And I always buy bike parts, as you guys know, so here's something for $1 that I picked up. Oh, cool, it's an actual spinning fork in the picture. Spinning fork with Hustler's face in the middle of spinning fork. This is what a suspension fork looks like on a bicycle. Old school RockShox fork. For $1, I expect this sucker's worth about 20 to 30 bucks locally, right? It's kind of heavy, probably about 6 pounds. Definitely not sending this sucker off. But if you find stuff like this, then the way you test it and make sure it's kind of working is put it down on a cloth, put your hand up on this thing, and just compress it, right? And then if you want to see if it's leaking anything, then just back up these things upwards, like this, as you can see, and then take a look if there's oil kind of leaking out of here. And you'll know, even before you buy it, whether it's a good deal to buy it or not. See? You guys are freaking learning something! Okay, so now the haul is going to get a little bit better and a little bit more interesting. So for $5, and I think this thing is worth about 80 to 100 bucks, I got this Cyclops wind air trainer. Oh, well then, it's pretty cool. And it's kind of heavy. You know what that means. On the owl! Ah! On the owl! When you buy these things, you want to make sure that they work. So basically, spin the wind part right here. Make sure the bearing looks pretty good. This one's spinning really good. And then make sure the actual tensioning device, which brings this thing actually on the wheel on the bicycle, actually is not stripped down here where the nut is. And there you go. It's a pretty basic thing. Make sure that the bearings work. Make sure that the bolt is good. You're good to go. Okay, so I stumble upon this garage sale some part of the day, and I get wicked excited on this one thing right here. Pay attention to this price tag. Oh my god, $15? Okay, that looks pretty good. A Washburn, oh my god! And I talked this guy down. $10 is what I bought this sucker for. An awesome Washburn bass guitar. So very, very awesome. I think this thing's gonna score easily somewhere between 80 and 100 bucks locally. I'm not shipping this sucker off. I'm gonna sing you guys a little hustler song. Ow! Profits! Ow! Profits! Okay guys. So, I want to show you the 5 bikes that I found this past weekend as well. I got stellar deals on all these bikes, so let's go for the first one right here. This one is called an automatic transmission made in Japan 10-speed bike. Not really super rare or anything. The fact that it's just a vintage steel frame road bike makes it valuable. I bought this sucker for 20 bucks, and I think it's probably worth about $140 to about $160. It's in very good condition, and it actually rides pretty good. Okay, this next bike is a Trek 820 all steel frame mountain bike, fully rigid, no suspension. This one right here I bought for about, I think, $7, and it needed pretty much nothing. So $7, and I think its market value is somewhere between about $60 to $100 on Craigslist. Now this one's really, really cool. First of all, I bought it for $10, and I think its market value is somewhere between about $160 and $200. But it's an all steel frame Schwinn bike with really neat retro Schwinn logos, and it has just a lot of potential. It's 58 centimeters, so it's classified as a large road bike, and it's really, really light, it's really, really fast, and everything works on it. I did have to put a chain on it, so I'm about, I think, 14 bucks into a chain, $10 into the bike. I'm 24 bucks into this bike that can sell for about 180-ish is what I'm thinking it's going to shake out at. But I think it's in stellar condition. Definitely a really good find this past weekend. Okay, this is a really, really cool score. I bought this one for about $45 this past weekend. It's a Trek 6500 super small frame mountain bike with 26-inch rims. It does have a Judy front fork, as you can see right there, and it has rapid fire shifters up here. The bike's in stellar condition. It has amazing tires. Everything's in perfectly awesome working condition. 45 bucks. I think its market value is somewhere between 200 and 250 on Craigslist. And I think this is a really good score for the money. And the very last score, awesome Simple 7 Giant, very rare Giant produced cruiser bike with actual 7 speeds on it. As you can see, there's a shifter up here that routes down a line that goes to this actual hub, cassette, and shifting body right here. This bike is probably worth about a solid $200 to $250. I bought this one for $75 this weekend. And if you take notice, it does actually have a Springer front fork, which is really neat. So a lot of people that are into the cruiser biking kind of stuff really like these Springer front forks. They take the edge off of bumps, make it kind of like it has suspension in the front part of the bike. So this was a really, really good score of the day as well. Alright guys, so another thing that I found at a church-wide garage sale this past weekend was this, which is an instep folding kid carrier for the back of a bicycle. But I'm going to use it to carry my Peter around. Wait a minute. You guys want to see my Peter? There's my Peter. What's up, Peter? Hey, Peter, you want to go for a ride? All right. Hey, Peter. All right, peeps. I hope you enjoyed my haul. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe to the Bonafide Hustler, and find me on Facebook, the Bonafide Hustler, and now on Twitter, YouTube Hustler. Don't forget to like this video. Catch you guys later. Bye.